And we are back. Pokemon Fire Red, Hardcore Nuzlocke, only poison types available for this run. We have made it to the Elite Four, and let's go ahead and check the PC and see everyone we left on the table, as well as those we lost along the way. As you can see, it was just the Venonat, potentially the Venomoth, that we could have used with that. I believe it is bug poison typing there, so not too bad, but really it would have just been a good second option to give the Psychic TM to, but we gave that to Gengar, so no worries there. As far as casualties, we lost the Oddish to a random trainer near Bill, and just a critical hit peck from a Nidoran, just very unfortunate. We lost Epsilon to, where was that? I think that was to our rival in Silph Co. No one can really tank a flamethrower from a Charizard at that point in the game. A lot of water types are very hard to come by. And since this was poison only, it was just basically someone had to die, and it was the Arbok. And then for the Beedrill sacrifice right there, we just had that against our final rival fight on our way to Victory Road. So Alakazam just one shot the Bumblebee or the Wasp. So only 3 casualties, and that leaves us with this final 6 right here. We've basically come to know and love this team as we've progressed through this run. We've got the Venusaur, the Crobat, the Nidoking, the Gengar, Tentacruel, and the Nidoqueen. So I think we're going to have a really good time. We just got to watch out again for those psychic weaknesses. We have 2 ground immunities right there, which is really nice. That might come in handy. But yeah, let's go ahead and give this our best shot and see if we can beat the Elite Four and the champion and secure this victory. Let's do it. And we have busted down the front door of the Elite Four. The first member up is Lorelei here with primarily Ice-type Pokemon. Let's go ahead and see if we can just get a clean sweep here. No casualties, no shenanigans. We send out Alpha, our Venusaur, to get the party started, and we go all in on the sleep powder just to put the Dugong, the discount Lapras, to sleep while we try to set up the Sunny Day Solar Beam combination. And Dugong is just taking a nice nap here. We've got the Sunlight, and now Solar Beam is going to skip that charge up turn and just go straight for the Wombo combo. The massive damage comes down, and Dugong cannot survive, as that's going to be, I believe, 180 power times 2, and Venusaur's special attack is really high, and Slowbro can't even tank that, and Slowbro is pretty darn tanky. So that's 2 Pokemon down. The Lapras comes down, though, and that is the ace, and that is going to be a problem. I don't think we can one-shot the Lapras even with the combination, as it holds on with 1 HP. The Stab Ice Beam in response gets us down below half HP. The Sunlight is still strong, but Lapras with a Citrus Berry potentially bringing it to a safer space, but it does look like it is still in heal range for Lorelei, and she gets her back to full with the full restore. The Leech Seed comes down to counter that almost, but we do lose the Sunlight, and now Solar Beam is going to take an extra turn to charge up. So we're just going to have to keep that in mind. So we probably need to swap, as Lapras is most likely going to go for another Ice Beam to put down the Venusaur. So we just swap into Omega the Tentacruel to tank this. It is a critical hit, unfortunately, but thankfully we don't get an unlucky freeze, and the Leech Seed doing work as well. And now I don't think Lapras would knowingly go for an Ice Beam into a water type. So it does pivot to a Body Slam, and we get a perfect swap there into the Ghost typing that dodges the normal type. Body Slam, and the Thunderbolt comes down. Massive damage, and it is enough to snipe the beautiful Loch Ness Monster from that range. Only 2 Pokemon left, and Cloyster is just going to protect, hide in its shell for another day, but it's not enough, as the Gengar puts down the Clam, puts down the Oyster, and now Lorelei on the back ropes here, only has 1 Pokemon left, and she sends out the Jinx. Now, Jinx is not water, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to take care of business here, and she comes down with a Stab Ice Punch, which does a good chunk of damage, and we are definitely dead to critical hit now, and I am not willing to lose my Gengar, so we just swap into Tentacruel, who actually gets completely predicted with the lovely kiss, but thankfully we had the Chesto Berry ready for a potential rest play, and that wakes us up, and we get a neutral surf down, and that gets Jinx 2 full restore range. So that was not the cleanest thing, but Tentacruel speed is really going to pay dividends here, and I don't believe Jinx has a psychic type move, which is rather embarrassing. If she did, it would make this battle a whole lot more difficult, but we are just winging this. And speaking of wings, I thought we were going to throw out Crobat. So Omega is just going to take a nap here. And now we're under the Attract spell as well. But since Jinx can't really threaten us other than with Ice Punch, we are safe to stay in here and just speed through the Attract and Sleep spell. And there goes Lorelei. So let's take that. Let's take that momentum and keep it going and see if we can meet Bruno where he is. All right, Bruno, mainly fighting type, but he also has 2 Onix, so he's got 2 ground types in there as well, or rock types, if you will. So we gave Giga Drain to the Gengar here to really maximize its move set. So it's got a nice Thunderbolt, Psychic, Giga Drain. That is just insanity coverage on top of a Confuse Ray for some nice utility. But that special attack and speed stat really paying dividends as Hitmonchan holds on with 1 HP and gets a crucial Rock Tomb off to lower our speed. However, as far as the damage is concerned, we are still safe as Hitmonchan cannot fight us down with a stab fighting type move because of the ghost typing, which is really nice. So we're going to go ahead and utilize that turn to get a Giga Drain, almost get all of our HP back. We are -1 speed, but really that's no issue as Hitmonchan falls, and that is 2 Pokemon down, only 3 to go. Onix comes down, is going to be a sacrificial slaughter as Giga Drain is 4 times super effective. It's not the highest damage move, but with Gengar's special attack being absolutely through the roof, it doesn't really matter as the Machamp, the ace, comes down and tanks the Psychic as best he can, bringing him into the red, but the special defense is absolutely beautiful as it drops. Machamp trying to raise its deep physical defense and attack, but it's not going to be enough as Psychic just snipes the Machamp from where the Citrus Berry brings him back to, and Bruno is absolutely devastated right now as his Pokemon is just getting wiped out in front of him, and Hitmonlee holds on with 1 HP as well, but the special defense is beautiful there. Foresight trying to lock onto the Ghost, the full restore bringing Hitmonlee back to full HP, but with that special defense drop, this Psychic will be clear to go, and there goes Bruno's team. My gosh, that was no time at all, and I do believe let's just go take on Agatha, and let's see what happens. All right, it is now time for the 3rd member of the Elite Four, focusing mainly on Poison-type Pokemon. Also have some Ghosts to throw in there and mix it up as well. So this is just going to be Poison on Poison here. The Gengar comes down and gets a complete cheese with the double team. Very reminiscent of the Raichu in the 3rd gym. 2 double teams come down, and this is just going to be disaster. This is going to be an absolute disaster if we cannot connect any of these Shadow Balls, and that is 3 double teams, and Sigma cannot see. Sigma has gone blind. The Nidoqueen is just stumbling in the dark, but it does manage to land a Shadow Ball through all the evasion. Can we just land one more here as Gengar is smiling so evil, just ready to cause mayhem, and we miss yet another Shadow Ball, and Gengar is going for that 6-time evasion and then gets a Confuse Ray on top. The Person Berry pops. We miss yet another Shadow Ball. We miss 3 Shadow Balls in a row. The Shadow Punch comes down and starts chipping away. We miss again, and we hurt ourselves, and we are just getting absolutely bamboozled. That Sigma breaks through the confusion but cannot land the Shadow Ball, and Gengar is chipping away with these Shadow Punches, an absolutely atrocious physical attack stat with the Ghost typing in Gen 3, but it is doing the job as Nidoqueen is gone, 39 HP, cannot even stay out, and we can't clear the first Pokemon from Agatha, all because of Double Team. An absolutely incredible showing here by the Gengar. So we swap into our Crobat, and all we need is 1 Shadow Ball, but we miss, of course, and another Confuse Ray comes down. Delta's going to have to fight through this, hurts itself twice on top of Shadow Punches, gets a little reprieve from the Oran Berry, but we do get the Shadow Ball, and it almost one-shots the Gengar. It does get a nice special defense drop. However, that does not apply to Shadow Ball since it is physical in this generation. And now I am not sure what we do here because I think we are dead to a potential critical hit. So we are swapping into our 3rd string here. Nidoking comes down, also has Shadow Ball to boot, and Gengar finally falls. Just an absolute menace, really pushing Crobat and Nidoqueen to the brink. So now the torch has been passed to Nidoking, who disposes of the Haunter as it comes down. So that is a nice rebound from that first 1v1. We still have 3 Pokemon we got to get through, and there is the ace, level 58 Gengar. Can this Shadow Ball take care of business? It can almost do the job as Gengar responds with a Shadow Ball, but again, that is physical damage, and Gengar's physical is not good at all, opening the door for us, just a 2-shot, and it really is crazy how Double Team just opens the door and lets that level 54 Gengar just get out of hand. But now Nidoking is ready, and it's just pick his poison, pun intended, as he can go for Thunderbolt or Ice Beam as they're both super effective. Golbat brought to the orange, tanks an Air Cutter, no problem on the side of Nidoking, and another Ice Beam connects, gets a fadeaway critical just for fun, and Golbat falls. That Brings us to Agatha's final Pokemon. It is the Arbok. And this one's going to go out for our Arbok. And again, it is pick your poison. Which move do you go for? Do you go for the potential freeze, or do you go for the potential paralysis? We go all in on the Thunderbolt. We just wanted a 2-shot. It does look like it's going to be 3. Iron Tail connects for good damage. We're brought about to 3rd, maybe a 4th HP. So we're just going to swap into a fresh Pokemon. It is Gengar. And we are just going to tank an Iron Tail that does do a good chunk, but Psychic from that range is good night Sally, and there's no way the snake can survive. Really good stuff. That is 3 members of the Elite Four down. I think I'm going to call this video here, and let's just march in next video and take on Lance as well as the champion and see if we can complete this hardcore Nuzlocke. As always, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you on the flip. Peace.